Hello everybody, so it's time for my top 10 best movies of 2018. I'm visiting my dad, that's why we're in this room. This room has not changed since I was 18 years old, and it is full of loads of rubbish now. But let's get into this. First up, we're going to do mentions. There's too many mentions, so I'm going to go through these very, very quickly. First we have Black Mirror Bandersnatch, which was a really fun, interactive film. Climax, Ghost Stories, Overlord, Fahrenheit 11/9, Black Klansman, Summer of '84, Hearts Beat Loud, Revenge, Terrified, Blind Spotting, Skate Kitchen, The Hate U Give, Mission Impossible Fallout, Isle of Dogs, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I enjoyed that, okay? It was a fun dinosaur horror, in my opinion. Game Night, Sorry to Bother You, Assassination Nation, Bumblebee, and Thoroughbreds. That's the mentions. Now let's get into the top 10. In at number 10 we have Black Panther. Black Panther, in my opinion, is one of Marvel's best films to date. I think it's a lot better than their other films. This had its comedy, it had its action, it was fun, it was just exciting throughout. There were scenes that gave me goosebumps. There's a point where they're in the casino and everything just goes crazy. That point of the film I was like, this is perfect. I just loved every single thing about it. With a fantastic cast. And that's why Black Panther is number 10. Number 9 is Upgrade. Upgrade, done by Lee Warnell and starring Logan Marshall Green, was this sci-fi action that when a man gets paralysed but then gets something put in his body so he can now just fight, do some crazy fighting. It was just ultra violence and was just over the top brilliance, and I loved it. Like, the first time a fight scene happens, it's just sort of an oh shit moment because there's something you don't expect, and it does it brilliantly. The choreographing of the fight scenes and seeing that Logan Marshall Green knew how to do his own stunts, it's just brilliant. Everything about it was great, and that's why I think that's the first time I saw it. It gave me goosebumps, those fight scenes, and I watched it the second time. I was like, is it gonna have the same impact? And it did. It seriously did. So that's why it is 10 and 9 are films that I saw twice, and loved them just the same both times. In at number 8, I know people say this is the most overrated film of the year, but A Quiet Place. A Quiet Place, for me, I was in a cinema where as soon as the film started, all of the cinema audience went quiet. And I hadn't had that in a screening for a long time. There's been screenings where people just talk throughout the film, but everyone was on board with this. And that's why it made it this really thrilling experience, and was just a perfect horror with the things that it chose to do. It was very genius almost. I've forgotten the name of the guy that wrote and directed it, which is really good. But for a directional debut, it was a brilliant directional debut. Emily Blunt does brilliantly in it. Brilliant. I'm just going to keep saying brilliant. It was a good horror that I really, really enjoyed. In at number 7, we have Hereditary. Yep, it's the better horror than A Quiet Place. Hereditary, once again, has this moment. There's a moment in it where something happened, and I thought a certain thing had happened, and you realise what happened. And I remember being sat there, just open-mouthed in the cinema. My girlfriend was exactly the same. We were just so shocked at what had just happened on screen, that it had actually happened. We were like, fuck, that's a bit much. But it was a horror that was slow burn, and just, I think the ending, there was something, it's an ending that can split people. And I recently said to a friend, I feel like the ending is almost how people feel about the ending of Kill List, and they were like, that's a great comparison. That's me. Yeah, I'm so clever with my comparisons, but that's how it felt for me. Hereditary and Kill List have these almost the same comparisons with their endings, but I do enjoy the ending. I think it's creepy throughout. It's this slow burn, effective horror that I really, really had a good time with, and it's been a good year for horror, and Hereditary was one of the best horrors of the year. In at number 6 is Christopher Robin. Christopher Robin, the emotion this gave me. My girlfriend, when we saw it, she was tearing up. She's like, because there's a point where Christopher Robin is just talking to Winnie the Pooh in a horrible way. She said she wanted to get in that screen, just slap Christopher Robin, because it's so emotional and really bothers you with these little things. But it's just a wonderful, wonderful film with wonderful CGI, and it's just phenomenal, and one of Disney's best, newest live actions, and does do exactly what you want to see with Winnie the Pooh and Christopher Robin and all these characters, and I loved it so much. It is just a fantastic film. In at number 5 is Widows, Steve McQueen doing it again. fantastic cast. I'm just going to keep it sounding fantastic, because all these films are fantastic I'm talking about. But this has one of my favourite 360 shots in any film this year, even though it's a very harrowing 360 shot. Just the cinematography, the thought process, everyone just giving incredible performances, brilliant written script, just the thought with how they did certain shots. There's this one shot with Colin Farrell, he's just talking in a car, but the camera's just a fixed shot while the car drives down the street, and you're seeing everything sort of happen on the street. Oh, it is just... Steve McQueen knows how to pick his shots, he knows how to have these brilliant cinematographers, and it is a work of genius, a cleverly put together film, and I loved it. And in at number 4 is Avengers Infinity War. It's going to be on a lot of people's list, but Avengers Infinity War it's the thing that I'd waited for, and finally, after... I'm going to say this, it sort of was alright with Avengers Assemble, the first Avengers film, and then Avengers Age of Ultron, but when I look at them now, they're not good films. They're really not, but Infinity War is a well put together film with giving the right character development and showing how a villain can work brilliantly, and giving you that ending where you're like, what? That's how you can end it. It wasn't a Marvel like, hey, we're gonna make this all cheery. No, we're gonna give you that fuck you ending that just impacts you a lot. That is the good thing about this film. It is an impactful ending, and that's why Avengers Infinity War is number 4. In number 3, this is one that I know some people were mixed on, but this is a film that had the biggest impact on me this year, being someone bisexual. Seeing this film just made me see how I was treated when I was younger in school and stuff, and it was just really moved me, this film. Love, Simon is number 3 because of the way it did its characters and portrayed this story, and did it just in this perfect way that I loved about it. I know people will be like, oh, but it's this teen rom-com dramedy, but it's just a wonderful film. Like, everything about it had me laughing, it had me emotional. I remember seeing this in a secret screening and people being homophobic in that screening and walking out, and I was like, this is the reason this film's been made. I remember crying many times in that cinema. It's just a wonderful film that really moved me, and I could relate to it so much, and that's why Love, Simon is number 3, because of the impact it had on me. In at number 2 is Bodied. Bodied is this Joseph Kwan, made by him. He also made Detention. He makes these very weird films, but they're so brilliantly written and very clever. And Bodied has some of the most perfect writing. It's a film that pushes the boundaries. It's battle rap, and this white ginger guy trying to get into battle rap, and it's hilarious. And I first saw this at Fright Fest with an audience that was so into it, that were loving everything that was happening on screen, all sort of joining in, but it wasn't this annoying audience. They were all just loving it so much, and I think that's what impacted me so much with the film. And then on a second viewing, I was like, I'm worried that maybe I'm not going to enjoy this film as much as my first viewing, because it's not with an audience this time. I'm just watching it on YouTube Premium, but I loved it just as much a second time round. If you have not watched this film, then seriously do watch it. It does try to be very, very offensive, but you see how it works in this PC time, what people moan about. We're too politically correct, but this doesn't care about its political correctness, but it does racism, does sexism, but does it in a clever way that makes you see how this stuff can impact sort of battle rap and how that community is, and how the community, I'm not sure it's really a community, but if you get what I'm saying. Bodied in at number 2, it is brilliant. It was number 1 for a long time, and then what took over was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. That is number 1. This film, just everything about it. It just picks on the other Spider-Man films, picks on, how many times have we seen Peter Parker's story? A wonderful animation, just mind-blowing animation that is just so beautiful to look at. Every single shot is amazing. This is phenomenal. I don't understand why Sony made the terrible Venom, but then they give us this. It's confusing. It's confusing. But Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, I don't really want to say too much about it, because I just feel like it's a film that you just need to experience. Even if you're not really into Spider-Man, you'll find something to love with this. Even if you're not really into superhero movies, there's still so much of this film that sort of separates itself from other Spider-Man movies and other superhero movies. It's emotional, it's heartfelt, it's got its heart in the right place, and is something for everyone really. I just loved it so much, and that's why it's number one. So that's my top 10 best movies of 2018. Sort of rushed through these, but the only thing I really need to say about them is they all are fantastic, and if you haven't seen them, seriously do check them out. Maybe you didn't like some of these films, and that's fine. That's fine. This is my opinion once again. If you didn't like these films, that's fine. If you like these films, brilliant. Glad you liked them. In the comments down below, tell me what your favourite films, your best films of 2018 were. And I'll see you in the new year. We've got two new episodes of Coffee Vlog coming in the new year. One with my sister and one with my good friend and comedian Rob Dan. So keep an eye out for those, and I will see you all again very, very soon. Goodbye.